There it goes. There it goes. And we're seeing a drop. We're seeing a drop. I don't see the numbers yet. There it goes. Pretty significant drop. All right, we're down 3% during the pre-market session. 2.5%, 3%. Look at that. Instant reaction, and we still don't even have access to it. Here it goes. Market's tanking. 3.8%, 3.9%. So 1% from last month.
They're just crossing right now, so let me go ahead and dig into the report if we can. 8.6 year over year, 8.6% year over year. That was the big number. That is hotter than expected, and that is actually back. Core is what point? Core what? 6.0. Okay, so both of these are coming in hotter than expected. I wanted those to be in my ear immediately because those are the two big numbers that we're looking at. Year over year, headline inflation, consumer prices, 8.6%. Last month it was 8.3%. We're now back to that 40-year level of inflation.
Still running rampant, U.S. consumer prices accelerated in May at the fastest rate since 1981 as Americans grapple with a surge in the cost of gas, food, and shelter. Data show Friday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics May Consumer Price Index, which is the CPI, showed a year-over-year increase of 8.6 up from 8.3 in April. Economists were expecting an 8.3 increase in May. According to the estimates compiled by Bloomberg, the biggest contributors to the latest jump in inflation were shelter, gasoline, and food, according to the BLS. The energy index rose 3.9% month on month in May, with the gas index rising 4.1% compared to the prior year. Energy prices in May were up 34.6%, the most since September 2005. Meanwhile, the food index rose 1.2% from April to May, 10.1% over the prior year, the largest jump since March of 1981. But I digress. Let's see what's going on in the world and get more feedback. Editor, roll clip, fair use.
Eddie Gabor joins me now, the man himself. You said earlier this week that we were in the calm before the storm. That was earlier this week. All right, it's Friday. Is this the storm?
It is, Stuart. And what this confirms is the Fed is going to have to force a recession to get inflation down. This is what we've been warning about. True. This is why we have not been fully invested all year, and investors need to take this serious. Trying to pick a bottom in this type of environment is dangerous, and I don't think we're anywhere close to a bottom. So they need to take these opportunities to protect their hard-earned capital before it gets a lot worse.
Well, you nailed it on the name. Yeah, it has. Now, look, as I said earlier, we were bracing for something that had the potential to be an unfriendly number.
Every month, the government is telling us inflation is at 8%. Now, the reality is that they're straight up lying. Utilities, gasoline, grocery prices, all things we cannot do without, are much higher than 8% more expensive than they were just 6 months ago. They're probably double digits more expensive. We feel that every single month in the gas pump, in the grocery store. Now, the government likes to remove food and energy out of their core inflation calculation. They're too volatile to be meaningful, right? But honestly, for everyday Americans, it doesn't matter. We care about those items. They have a massive impact on our daily lives, on our purchasing power, quality of life. I mean, saying it doesn't matter is a straight-up insult to every single American. Now, remember when they told you that it's transitory.
The evidence is finally going Pal's way. Team Transitory is going to win.
Several days later.
How long does inflation have to run above your target before the Fed decides maybe it's not so transitory?
Well, I think it's probably a good time to retire that word.
For months and months. Remember then they changed it to, well, March is going to be the worst of it and things will only get better after March. Well, this is June, motherfucker. And I think we can all agree they're full of shit. Now they're down to the last bag of tricks, the core inflation. Let's pretend things are all right and sing kumbaya around the campfire while the country is going to shit. Dear politicians, please hear me out on this. $5 per gallon, the 30% increase in grocery prices is the definition of a living hell for most Americans. The everyday American is not driving a fancy car. He doesn't have a cushy job. He probably doesn't make a lot of money, but he doesn't ask for a lot. The only thing we ask of you, dear politicians, is just don't lie to us. And yet, it's still too much to ask, it seems, because right now you are lying to us about inflation. They absolutely have no solution to this. You just heard me. Look, right now in the US, we're dealing with anywhere from 15 to 17 to 18% realistic inflation, not the 8% they're telling you. But let's assume it's 8% just for the sake of the discussion. Even at 8%, in order to battle this level of inflation, you probably need about 12% of interest. That's according to the Taylor rule. Go look it up. Now, here's the problem. Right now, we've dug ourselves into a massive debt. Our debt is now 140% of our GDP. We owe 40% more than what we make, and we're currently paying about $300 billion per year in interest. And that's with almost 0% interest. So every single percent they raise interest will cost the government another $250 billion per year. This is money that has to come from somewhere, but where? Obviously, they can't print more money. That's going to lead to more inflation. We saw what money supply does to inflation. Obviously, they cannot cut spendings. They're Democrats. I mean, they're not really good at cutting spending. In fact, all they do is talk about increasing spending. Now, theoretically, you could raise taxes, but who are you going to tax? The individuals? They're already taxed to the brim. You absolutely have no more place to tax. You've been overworked and overtaxed for decades. So what's the plan here? Well, you're not going to like this. The only way to kill inflation is for them to destroy demand. And you can't do that without killing the economy for a while at least. So they're going to lie and let inflation destroy margins like it did to Target and Walmart. People will lose jobs. They will have less money to spend. Demand will suffer. There's going to be less revenue that's going to lead to less jobs and a vicious spiral ending in negative GDP. So if we are headed to a stock market crash and a recession, how long is this thing going to last and how we can actually make money off it? Well, for the past 100 years, we had the Great Depression of 1929, and it lasted for 4 years. During that time, GDP went down by like 30%. The Dow Jones crashed 72%. And I don't think we're headed there now.
Hey guys, it's Jose, your regular Joe Blow. As always, keeping an eye out and my ears open to these numbers. I know they are using different metrics. Because there's no way these numbers are accurate. Because we are no way near 1980 numbers considering the interest rates of today. This is how shaky this economy is. In order to fix this, policies must change. Plus, interest rates must be increased. We all know this. And you know the administration won't tell you the truth on how bad they have made it. They have made it specifically due to their policies. So all I can continue to do is sound the alarm. Guys, do your own research and prepare. For we are in a recession. They're just not telling us. We're in it currently. They haven't addressed it, us, because they really don't care about us. Let's move forward and help each other. God bless and thank you always. Guys, stay free.
It ain't hard to tell. I excel, then prevail.